This is the Blueair Blue Pure 411 Auto, and my first reaction was how refreshingly simple it is. No giant manual maze, no plastic-wrapped filter to dig out. I lifted the top, checked the pre-filter sleeve, plugged it in, peeled a label, and it was running in under a minute. That immediate ease set the tone for everything that followed. I've been using it in a small home office that doubles as a guest room. The footprint is tiny, so it tucks into a corner without stealing floor space. The fabric pre-filter wraps around the body, and it doesn't feel flimsy. It's machine washable, which I actually tried. I tossed it into a cold wash, air-dried it, slid it back on, and the fit stayed snug. That matters because a dirty pre-filter is where a lot of bigger dust gets trapped, and being able to wash it instead of tossing it saves a little money and hassle. Controls are as basic as it gets, in a good way. One button on top cycles the modes. Auto mode is what I've used most. It adjusts fan speed by reading the built-in particle sensor on the back, so when I opened the window on a windy day or made toast in the kitchen nearby, it ramped up on its own and then settled back down. Night mode is whisper quiet, and the overall sound profile is more like air moving through fabric than a harsh fan whine. Everyday mode keeps a steady mid-level flow for consistent cleaning. Turbo is my reset button when I bring in outdoor air or notice lingering cooking smells. I like that I never had to check a manual to understand what each mode does. The behavior is intuitive. If you're new to purifiers, auto simply means it decides the fan speed for you, based on what it sniffs in the air. Key features that stand out for me are the washable pre-filter, the one-button interface, the built-in air quality sensor, and what Blueair calls HEPASilent technology. In plain terms, that's a combo of mechanical filtration and an electrostatic charge to help catch particles efficiently at lower fan speeds, which is how it stays so quiet. The main filter is a tight weave for particles like dust, pollen, and smoke, and there's carbon material to help reduce common odors. Nothing fancy is required to maintain it. When it's time, the top cap lifts off and the main filter slides out. I also followed the manual's tip to clean the sensor. It's easy to access, and a quick brush or a short blast of air keeps it reading accurately. On paper, Blueair rates the 411 Auto to clean a 190 square foot room in about 12.5 minutes. And they note it can handle up to 912 square feet in an hour at a lower air change rate. That air changes per hour piece basically means how many times the air in the room gets cycled through the filter. From my experience, the 190 square foot claim tracks with what I saw using a simple particle meter. In my home office, PM2.5 levels dropped from meh to good faster than I expected, especially in turbo or when auto kicked up to a higher speed after I stirred up dust. On night mode, it's rated down near 18 dB, and subjectively, I'd call it softer than my mini fridge and way less distracting than a typical desk fan. I slept with it 2 feet from the bed and didn't feel the need to mask the sound. I've tried a bunch of cleaning scenarios because that's where purifiers either prove themselves or disappoint. Light cooking odors after breakfast cleared in under 15 minutes on turbo, and then auto settled the fan down. Spring pollen days were easier to manage. Starting the 411 Auto in the morning kept the room feeling fresher, and my eyes didn't itch as much by noon. Pet dander from a weekend visitor clung to the pre-filter, which washed off cleanly. Incense smoke was the toughest test, but once auto spooled up, that blue clean air reading returned in a reasonable time, and the room didn't smell stale afterward. In my opinion, this is the right kind of purifier for small rooms where you want quick, quiet, and uncomplicated results instead of babysitting settings. The design choices make sense for day-to-day living. The single-button simplicity means there's nothing to overthink. The light ring that signals air quality is helpful at a glance, and in low light, it's not obnoxiously bright. The body is stable and doesn't rattle, and the airflow shoots upward, so it mixes air well without blasting you in the face. Filter swaps are mess-free, and you don't need special tools. I appreciated that the pre-filter collects the bigger fuzz and hair so the main filter doesn't clog prematurely. The machine also sips power compared to bigger units, which I noticed on my outlet meter. I did have a few initial doubts. I wasn't sure a compact unit could keep up with dust from a nearby construction site, and I worried the single-button control would feel limiting. After living with it, the size turned out to be a non-issue for a small room, and auto mode made the one-button setup a strength rather than a limitation. If you want app control, a numeric air quality readout, or scheduling, this model doesn't have those. There's no remote, and you don't get a timer. I also noticed the pre-filter fabric shows lint more on darker colors, so lighter sleeves may look cleaner longer. Replacement filters aren't the cheapest, but with the washable pre-filter doing real work, I didn't feel like I was burning through them too quickly. Filter life will depend on your environment. The indicator will remind you when it's time. It's perfect for bedrooms, nurseries, home offices, dorm rooms, and small living areas where space and quiet matter. If you cook often, have a pet, or live in a place where pollen or wildfire smoke drift in seasonally, having auto and turbo ready at one touch is handy. From my experience, the 411 auto hit the sweet spot between performance and simplicity. It got me cleaner air without turning my room into a wind tunnel or adding another gadget I have to micromanage. I want to call out how approachable it is for someone new to air purifiers. Air changes per hour just means how frequently the air is cleaned. The pre-filter is that fabric sleeve catching larger debris. The main filter handles the finer stuff like dust, smoke, and pollen, and the carbon inside tackles odors. Cleaning the sensor helps the auto logic stay smart. That's pretty much the learning curve. After that, you just pick a mode, let it run, and wash the sleeve occasionally. I'd recommend this for anyone who values low noise, quick setup, and minimal maintenance over advanced smart features. If you're outfitting a small space and want reliable filtration that won't dominate the room or your attention, this checks the right boxes. Key features like the washable pre-filter, HEPASilent filtration, and a responsive auto mode make it easy to live with day after day. In my opinion, the real win is how it disappears into the background while quietly keeping the air clear. In conclusion, the Blueair Blue Pure 411 auto delivers on the basics that actually matter: clean air, low noise, and easy upkeep. It's not trying to be everything, and that's why it works so well. If you've been on the fence about getting a purifier for a smaller room, this is the one I'd start with. If this video helped, please subscribe for more honest, hands-on reviews, and drop your questions or your own experience with the 411 auto in the comments. Thank you for watching.